enough on time, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Tom?
You don't check it me. Too late, so it should start. All right then, so we've had apologies for absence there from
Councillor Hutton, Councillor Clark, Councillor Glenn and Councillor Stack.
yeah, and we're all happy to accept those apologies.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So declaration of any interests, pecuniary or other? None to declare. Okay.
Which one is that?
Volunteer action.
Oh, right, yes, I do need to declare an interest. I don't,
Okay. Yeah, you're a member of the volunteer action committee.
didn't you know?
I'm just
I am.
repeating you for the recorder. Yes.
I am
Okay.
Miss Volunteer Action.
Okay. All right then. There's no representation from interested parties here, at my discretion. Minutes of the previous meeting, everybody have a look through them. Is there anything controversial in there or anything incorrect? Okay, sign them.
I've got them here.
Hmm?
I haven't got them, have
Oh, you know.
I? I don't think so. But I had a look through and I didn't notice anything.
So you're going to have a proposer and a seconder.
All right.
Yes, it's
Well,
done it.
then, we'll
Opposed?
fight over it.
Second?
Yeah.
All right.
Next time do it the other way round, Lucy.
All right.
Yeah, just for variety. All those in favour?
Thank you.
All right.
Yep.
Unanimous.
Just as well, really.
Okay then. So we've got wording of the memorial bench in St Christopher's. It's St Christopher's Drive. I did look for St Christopher's Close, but
Oh,
doesn't got
sorry,
it, yeah.
apologies.
And then I read the story about the bench. It was quite a well. I'm assuming there's a moving story behind there. 30-year-old, memorial, but I know nothing about it.
Mm.
So it must have come to the council before I existed.
Yeah, I copied you into the
Yeah, there was a
email.
resident wanted to put a bench there, and he's paid for everything, removing the old lichen covered bench that we had, with new concrete slabs gone in there, assuming the bench is going next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't remember the original.
No, well, a bit of the paper trail is there.
But
it's
and
not
sometimes people in the old days it didn't always kind of quite come to the council.
Oh, right,
We
okay.
would just, that somebody would tell the clerk we want to put a bench in.
Yes.
Yeah, all right,
Hmm.
things have got a lot more formalised in more recent years.
Yeah, so that's quite possibly what's happened here then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, the wording on the bench was, what was it, friend, brother, son, and
Eddie Barnes Brown, 1986 to 2016, friend, brother, son, legend.
yeah. So I would personally like to follow up on the story a little bit because it's right outside my house.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so no problem for me with the words. You guys, any problem?
That sounds fine.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So no problem there at all.
Do we need a proposer and
I think so.
seconder? I'll
No.
propose it.
I'll second order. Am I allowed to second?
You are, yes.
You've got an interest, haven't you?
Well, yes, you should have declared your
You should
interest.
have declared an interest.
I don't think any more than anybody else.
No.
So seconded by myself, and then all in favour?
All in
Can we
favour?
sit on it?
Yeah.
Right. But this was only about the wording, not about the bench itself.
Oh, I see, the word isn't on the bench then.
The word is on the bench. I'm not going to sit on the words though.
Depends where they put it.
Right. 2 minutes. Bear with me, just open the 1 minute. If you can. Right, so approve Flatton House boiler service contract. I'm assuming we've been through our normal procedures on this. It's below the
Yeah,
threshold
they-
of 3 quotes, is it?
Apparently, we asked for 10% discount last year, which they gave us, came back and gave us that, and they've kept the price the same this year.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, Emma's very happy with that and the service that they've provided.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is that a vote in favour of it?
That's
Proposal?
proposing it.
Okay, I thought you were trying to object.
No.
Seconded?
Yep.
Yeah.
Those in
All in favour? Very good.
Thank you.
Right, new lawnmower. Compared to a boiler, the lawnmowers are very cheap.
And you'll see the preferred option is the cheaper version. I said to John, that'll go
Yes.
down well.
Yeah, so I had to look at it too.
He's done his research and he did give me the reasons as to why he preferred that one.
Yeah, which one?
I can't remember. I think it was something to do with the base of it. The base is a lot more hard wearing
Okay, right.
and it's, I think, slightly lighter weight as well. Something.
Yeah. Okay, so we're all in favour of that? Or
Yeah.
any more questions on it? No. So
Proposed
can
and
I
seconded.
propose that then?
You can.
Yeah, do you want to say?
I'll second it.
All in favour?
In favour, yeah.
Right. Parking bollards around St Peter's Church. I know you haven't had a chance to look at these yet,
Wait,
but go on, can you take me through the story then?
What we have decided,
Take me through the story,
Yeah.
please.
So they're currently oak,
Yes,
but they've all rotted at the bottom.
yeah,
They're absorbing water, so they're almost impossible for the church
yeah,
people to get out, in and out. We have to obviously put caps in. They usually take just two out to allow access, so they had
Yeah.
2 caps, one of which has been stolen. So if we go for this method, we've got to replace all of the posts and at least one other cap,
yeah.
which I've had one quote in so far, which has been £135 just for the one cap.
Mhm.
Haven't looked at quotes yet because Emma and I said maybe come to you first and see what the preferred option is before we start getting quotes. We don't, this is at the rugby club, I just put this in as an illustration of some of the types of things you can get, but I don't think they're appropriate. But we do think the ones that we've got here at Fletton House and in the Market Square do fit in nicely, they look traditional, and we have a feeling they will be cheaper than these and less maintenance.
they're actually quite light. I mean, they look
Yes.
like cast
They are
iron,
light.
Yeah,
but they're
yeah.
actually,
Mm.
and will wear better.
Yeah.
And it's part of the Anvil Council look.
Yeah, sure. I just felt, by the church that the oak ones.
They do look, when they're in good condition, they look nice. But
Sorry, remind me, whereabouts on the church is this?
In the churchyard.
yeah, so as you, you know the entrance that you can drive in through the back by the side of Coleman's.
Yes.
As you come into there, there's 2 right in front of you to stop people driving right up to the church door, and then along the left-hand side there's this parquet or whatever, brick paving.
Yeah.
And there's I think 4 or 5 along here, and they just take out 2 for funeral
To
services,
get the hearse and
weddings,
things
yeah,
Yeah.
onto the back.
and to generally stop people just parking there willy-nilly as they feel they
Yeah.
want to.
Okay. So I understand the purpose of them then.
Yeah, but he showed us the one that he tried to get out that's all swollen up because obviously the water's just soaking in here. Yeah, I don't know how you'd have oak and get by
Had to be
that.
bog oak or something.
Yeah.
wouldn't it? And cost
Well,
a fortune.
I don't, myself, I actually make the bottom base out of a steel box,
Mm,
and have oak, in the steel
Inside
box.
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
so
no
the top-
good if they swell up. And
Well,
It's
no,
all right
the-
if you don't have to take them out.
no, you see, you have inside. that
how's
steel
this
box
bit
you
you
can
mean,
see.
don't you? Put some
Yeah.
steel here kind
Oh, I
of thing
see,
round the
yeah.
base of
Right,
it to
yeah.
keep it tight, and then it would slot
Yeah,
possibly
well,
a lot
it would never
easier
grow,
into there.
It'd be steel. Yeah, and the oak would be in the steel, but it's only because, it's the aesthetics issue.
Mm.
So myself, I feel I'd like a site visit,
Mm-hmm.
and also have some of the other people that are involved, like the church,
Yeah.
in that discussion. I can understand the benefits of the plastic,
Yeah.
yeah. But
We have to be careful asking the church because it's ours, the churchyard.
yeah, I
We have to
understand.
maintain
I understand
it.
that.
And the
but-
minute you give some of the people who attend the church a choice, they will always swim against the tide. We have had that, haven't we? There's the green group and there's the group that wants it to be all wildflowers and another group that wants
Yeah, because to be
everything
fair,
green.
I've not shown those
No.
pictures to the people that approach me from the church. So I mean, they might straight away say we don't like those.
Well, but they don't have a choice,
No.
actually,
No.
because it's the council debt shell.
Yes, yeah, okay. So, okay, it's also to make the final call on it.
Yeah,
That
it
looks
is.
decidedly dangerous, that. There's something sticking out of the side of that one. by the looks of it.
Where's that?
That's a pin or something, isn't it, sticking out
Well,
there?
on one of them, they've got
That must go into that little hole located.
I think
in
they've
that
got
hole.
little padlocks or something. Yeah, that
Yeah.
because that's an eye and that's a hole. So I think they have got padlocks.
Right, that lock it in place.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I can do is, as well, before you go to the meeting, is get comparable quotes as well, price wise.
The costings of it. How old are the oak ones?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Do you remember, Val, when they were last replaced?
I don't know when they were last replaced.
I mean, they
Not
look
that-
like
they
they've been
don't
there.
have a terribly long life.
No.
No, it's a
To be
sad
honest.
thing. You think hardwood lasts, but
No,
it
it
doesn't.
doesn't
No.
actually, because even if you've got them with a kind of a cap round the
Yeah, the
bottom,
lead cap.
Yeah.
you see
you've
what's
still
happened to
got
it.
this point where they go into that,
Yeah,
where you
Yeah.
can still get
yeah.
water ingress.
A couple of things about our plastic ones. We haven't had it happen, I don't think, to any of ours yet, but I just wonder what happens if somebody drives into them hard.
Mm.
They'll put up with a certain amount of...
Yeah, they seem to
Well,
so
this
far.
this
Yeah.
this has
Some of the ones-
happened with one of these.
They
The
have been
chap,
hit a time or
I
two,
know,
but
and
they...
they're still all right.
Yeah.
the chap showed me one of them that has bent. It's bent the back of this, where
Yeah.
somebody's obviously reversed into it. And again, he said that hinders the
Yeah.
process of pulling
will,
it
yeah.
out.
It
Yeah.
will.
Right.
The only thing about our black ones is one day when they were absolutely wet in the rain, I tried, because you give them a quarter twist and then lift them out,
Yeah.
and I could not grip them to twist them to
Twist
pull
them
them
to
out.
get them out.
Mm.
Yeah.
When we needed to get a vehicle round the front of the building one day.
Mm.
Yeah. Probably need a bar hole in them. Yes.
So that's the...
Okay. So if you don't mind, I would like to go and have a look.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
we'll go and have a look,
And then-
just don't talk to the church. Well, because I'll tell you what will happen.
Right. So if you lay that on,
Yeah.
please.
Okay, doke. Okie doke.
Right.
That was all that. So consider the voluntary actions use of the hub during August.
Volunteer action.
Volunteer action. Yeah, okay. So there's been a lot of correspondence there. Lisa's given me some of the numbers. Yeah. The problem I've got is it's coupled with a bigger issue about the hub itself. So let's put the hub and the hub profitability to one side. Yeah. I think the numbers that you've given me, show that it's well and truly the right thing to do.
Mm.
Yeah. With the numbers you're talking about, even with a lower level of numbers, the footfall will be significantly greater than it is at the moment.
Mhm.
So we'll say to them, yes. And then, because we've got a few months before it actually happens, we can work out staffing between now and then. What I would like to happen with the hub, though, is somebody, like either you, Emma, or somebody else, takes over responsibility for the profitability of the hub. And that you decide then how you staff it, when you staff it. But for this meeting, my opinion is that we should approve it and tell them, yes.
I don't really want to give an opinion because I haven't had anything to do with this. I don't know
Okay,
what's going to be done, and I didn't want to influence it in any way, shape or form.
Well, that's why you haven't influenced it at all.
So, no.
Yeah. Roy, any problems with that?
No, I mean, I've had a good look at these figures. I think there's no problem with what we're proposing with volunteer action.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good thing. I'm happy to propose that.
Okay, I'll second it therefore. Before we vote, all in favour?
Do you want me to vote? I mean, I think I should abstain, actually.
That's fine. Well,
It's 2 for and 1 abstention, that's okay.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Is that yours? I didn't think it ought to be in the movie.
Right, Federal Action Plan. I do like Lisa's action plans. They're in spreadsheet format, I do everything in spreadsheets.
I haven't got mine with me.
I haven't got one either. In the pack.
It was in the pack,
I think it was in the original email, wasn't it?
wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's got an asterisk on here, so it was a document in the original pack, it's just not come out.
I think it's in the supporting documents.
Oh yeah, I think it was. I've just not put it in my pack, which is not very helpful. Too many folders then, no problem. No, I've not got mine.
So we
Oh
have
yes,
that
I
one.
have, yes, I have it.
Right.
Do you want me to read through them, Tony?
Yeah, go on. I'm flicking through my
So-
files. What I told you was very good.
The bunting, we're waiting for timescales for the licensed body, installation of contractor. That came through, the licence came through early this week, contractor's doing it sometime this week. So the bunting will be up by the weekend for the Festival of Music and Drama, which is good.
Right. Good.
Oracle Tro, yes, they've been informed. They're removing their equipment this week and returning the keys. We found out today that it'll be Friday, we think, hopefully.
Right.
Volunteer action we've just discussed, so we've given the potential staffing costs, etc.,
Yeah.
and projections, so that's
Yeah.
all sorted.
That's done.
Fairline
So just
parking.
going back one, with the horticultural, any sort of upset with them?
Yeah, they were a bit upset that they couldn't do the 23rd this weekend just gone. They had to cancel it because when they put it to the client, that they could have it at the Queen Victoria Hall, they didn't want that. They wanted like a restaurant, cafe atmosphere, so they went elsewhere. So unfortunate, but it's one of those things.
Yeah.
Fairline, we're still on that, aren't we?
Yeah,
we're
so
we're
trying to
just
find
waiting for
a
Jerry
time
to
when
come
both
back.
Jerry and
Yeah.
myself are available.
But I've got a contact now, and he seemed very happy to meet and very helpful.
So I didn't want to go to Fairline on my own because of the
No.
scale of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's not just their use of the old car park, but it's the whole parking on their site.
Yeah.
You know, trying to do something clever with that place that they've got.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
I did highlight that in my feedback as well from the planning meeting. I put that as the last point
Yeah.
of our concerns that, you know, we're already having issues with them parking in the long stay car park, not on their own site, so it needs to be
Yeah.
discussed.
Yeah.
Litter pick equipment is all ordered and arrived, ready for Sunday, so that's going ahead.
I was terribly tempted when I was in Poundland, one of my favourite shops. They had list figures there.
Did they?
Pound
Pound
each.
each, yeah. How long they'll last though, Tony, that's the thing,
Oh, I
isn't
know.
it?
I had one in the motorhome so I could do the parking tickets and when I was travelling in France. Because
You can't reach.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yep,
Thank you very much.
okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think this is good.
Progress report, yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise things
Really,
just
really
some
like it.
get missed and forgotten,
Yes.
don't
So
they?
they end up, when you've got them as agenda items, minutes and so on,
Yeah.
you just get so bogged down with
Yeah.
process and handwriting.
I've always been a list person because I hate forgetting things, so I just write lists for everything.
So,
Lists
So
for
do I.
lists.
Yeah. Every wife has to be more than 3 things, I have to make a list.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if I do leave it on the kitchen table when I go.
Yes.
Right, approve £904 plus VAT for the power sockets heater. So I had a look through at the quote. What's our relationship with Saddlers? Is it that they are our preferred supplier, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do we do? Every now and then we double check on them?
I presume so. I mean, Saddlers is always who Hannah had used, so I presume she'd been through quite a few bits and pieces where she'd got 3 quotes.
I think every year
Now
or
and
so,
again,
it
yeah.
might be worth just getting another quote.
Yeah.
This one I haven't
We
got a
should
problem
do.
with,
Yes.
but
This came about quite quickly from a meeting I had with Swimex last week. He's downsizing from 2 officers at the courthouse to 1.
yes,
So we've now got another 2 rooms that we're going to be letting soon.
yeah.
But he was just saying that because he's downsizing in operation and moving all of his staff into 1 room, he needs more power points. And he said the heater, which is very old, very low on the floor, and the buttons, you can't actually see what you're doing. So he actually just asked if we would move that heater, but because it is quite old and probably very inefficient, we just said, well, we'll get a quote to get a more efficient
Point
one.
about the energy saving heater and sensing when windows are open. I don't know how it does it.
Yeah.
But, just on the point though of electricity, are the individual suites on metered electricity?
No,
I don't think so now. I think they're just all,
It's
yeah.
only because he's got an
The
electric.
heating's in the rent, as it were.
He's got an electric heater in there. If he leaves it on all night,
Mm.
we're paying for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Is there anything we can do to protect ourselves on that one?
Yeah,
So I know,
I'll do that now.
in the cheaper hotels, when you go in, you have to put your card in the box.
Mm.
Yes.
If you don't do that, the heating isn't on in the room.
All the lights or anything, yeah.
Yeah. So could you just look at it then?
Yeah.
As a very bad student, I used to use a 3 kilowatt heater to help brew my beer. By putting it on in the cellar in the summer. Because the students' union were paying for all the electricity. But so it did. But I'm not talking about abuse. It's carelessness, though. Sometimes people leave it on all weekend.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were talking, we were talking about this issue with the water as well, weren't we? Because we've got the barbers, which I don't think the barber uses a lot of water because they do dry cuts, don't they?
Yeah.
But you've also got the dog grooming,
Yeah.
where she's washing dogs, and I remember them saying at the
I thought
beginning.
we had said we were going to charge
We-
extra.
Yeah, I thought we were going to monitor it. I seem to
Yeah.
remember Hanneke saying something about monitoring it and seeing what the usage is.
We ought to perhaps revisit agenda for next time.
Well, I think
If
all
not
of the
before.
services really should be
Yes,
metered in each of the individual rooms, so they should be paying their
Well, you
appropriate
just
amount.
say on this the difference between the cost of installing all the individual meters.
Yes,
Which
yeah,
will get, it'll be at least £500 for
Yeah.
the suite
Yeah.
against what you're going to recover.
cover,
So at
yeah.
some point you say, no, it's not worth it.
Not worth it.
I only monitored it with that panel heater though.
Mm,
And just, is there anything simple we can do on it?
yeah,
Yes, it just acts the money's
Okay.
the control gear on it. Because I know if you turn the power supply off to it, all the clocks go out of sync then, don't they?
oh, do they? I don't know.
Yeah, well, most of them have got the old mechanical clocks in them, so they forget.
Well, you've got additional electricity drying the dogs.
Mm.
It'll be a hand dryer of some sort.
Yeah,
I mean, I do recall
Well,
somebody
I
saying
can't
it's
remember.
not like she's a production line where she's got 30 dogs going in and out a day.
No,
It's I think she's like 3 or 4 or something like that. I don't know. So it's not massive.
So is
But
there
anyway,
any,
okay.
on that one heater then, if there's an option of an even cleverer controller on it,
Mm.
it would be appreciated.
Okay, like a timer or something like that. Yeah. But we're going ahead with that, are we? So I can have a proposer and a seconder.
I will propose it.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favour?
Thank you.
Any other business for report only?
Just one thing to report, James Dean, not circus, fair, is coming on the 31st of March. So it's coming on Sunday. They pay a standing charge Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I think he trades Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then he goes. So the weather's dry this year, so there was no issues. Last year he had an issue where he had to cancel because he couldn't get on the ground or off the ground. And he's very good because if there's any chance of damage, he just doesn't chance it.
Yeah.
So,
Do we ever get any complaints about the phone?
no, although Emma and I were talking today, it was this time last year that a certain gentleman that lives down that road phoned Emma and wanted her to go down there because 2 of the wives were having a very heated argument, almost fisticuffs, and Emma's like, well,
So,
Please.
what do you want me to do? I'm not going down there. And he was like, well, you need to, as the council, you need to go down there. So that's the only thing we've had so far.
Yeah. It's pretty good then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to put on, but it's good that the
It is.
local residents accept it.
You have a few grumbles about the music sometimes, but it doesn't go on till late. It closes. I live quite close to there, and I've
I
never
don't
heard
live
of it.
anywhere near it and I can hear it.
Can you?
Mm.
It's funny actually how when the wind's blowing a certain way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sound does travel,
Okay.
yeah.
But generally, we've not. I don't think we've had any issues with it.
All right. Okay. Yes.
You've seen the email that I sent to the clerk, reference the war memorial. The
Yes.
fact that
Yes.
it's been damaged, and I understand from Lisa it's been damaged again.
Yeah.
And just wondering where we are with it, because at the last Legion meeting, and we're due another one next week, they were talking about entering our war memorial. Now it's been cleaned, repaired, and it's looking absolutely immaculate.
Yeah.
They're talking about entering it in a national competition of war memorials,
Yeah.
because they think that it will be one of the better ones. So it won't look very good in the competition if it's got the surrounding cobbles. Not that they're part of the memorial itself,
No,
but
no.
if they're damaged. So I just,
Well, I reported it when it first happened, and got the response saying that it would be fixed within 28 days.
yeah,
Went to report it again today because it's been hit again, or it looks like it's been hit again. And the NCC website was down because they were rejigging it. Once it finally came back on this afternoon, I put in the reference number that you're given, and it said it didn't recognise it, so I just reported it again. And I said, this has already been reported. And the good thing, which Emma and I have been saying for I don't know how long with Street Doctor, is you could never upload a photo before. Now, with the new one that they've released this afternoon, you can upload photos, so I sent them a photograph of the War Memorial.
smashing.
And I will keep an eye on it. I'll have a look again tomorrow and see if there's been any response. Because I've actually exaggerated it and said it's dangerous. There's loose stones that people are moving to one side, but when they get hit, they get flicked all over the place. So, yeah.
I don't know if it's what I observed, but I see because the buses can't use Southbridge, you know, or haven't been using Southbridge because of the hold-ups and the disruption to the timetable. They do a double loop.
They
of
do,
the town,
yeah. Do the
which means
circuit.
they're turning right onto the War Memorial.
Yeah.
And having observed the bus trying to do it, the parked cars mean he can't take the sweep
The
that he
swing,
wants.
yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they have 2 or 3 goes at it to get around.
Yeah.
But
So-
the damage this time
It's on the other
is on
side.
the other side
Yeah.
from where the buses are.
It's on the
It's
Barclays
opposite side
side.
to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's not the buses, it's definitely not the buses.
No, so it's something coming down. New
well,
Street.
not necessarily, because some vehicles are so big that they actually don't go across the front and round. They go up
Oh, right, the wrong side of the
Mm.
the
road.
wrong side of the road.
They do, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, quite a lot of the big.
Where would they have been coming from? Is that pre-Northbridge?
Pre Northbridge.
Yes,
goes,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So post that to the.
But I
Okay,
don't know
I've got
what they.
we've got the road safety chap coming on Friday.
Right.
To talk about new roads.
Yeah.
You know, so what might be opportunistic for me is to take him for a walk down there
Yeah,
and just have a look at it.
Yeah.
yes,
You know,
yeah.
I'm just frightened because in both situations,
Mm.
I'm sure his recommendation is going to be double yellow lines.
Mm.
Mm.
You know, because both on New Road and there, you know, he'll say, well, you can't park cars here, you have all this traffic.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, so let's have a look anyway.
Mm.
But
Okay.
I will raise it with him on Friday.
It was one day last week when I was using the bus to go to Peterborough, and as we did as you say, the loop around, especially when they were going out through Copperstock,
Yeah.
when we did the loop after stopping off at the marketplace, going back round there, we had a long delay because of vehicles parked outside the Talbot and in the middle of the road, backed up to the War Memorial, up to what everybody calls the flagpole. It's not, it's a post to take the bunting and the lights. Backed right up to that was a brewery lorry, a
He
dray.
does.
Yeah.
And he was in the middle of the road doing that with cars parked on the left hand side, and the bus couldn't get through between them until he went and found the drivers and got the drivers of the cars to move.
Yeah.
The delivery guy was finishing his delivery and then he moved off, but he didn't move to let the bus through.
Yeah.
So I mentioned that for reference
So what's
only,
that traffic warden service? How often do they come?
infrequently.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes they
It's
seem to be
random.
there every
Yeah.
day, don't they?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
there's a huge
And then you
gap
don't see
again.
them for ages,
Yeah.
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 It's,
Yeah, we've had problems with that where traders have reported a purge in such as West Street, where they say their customers are being harassed on a daily basis for 2 or 3 days, and then they don't see a traffic warden for 2 or 3 months
Yeah,
Yeah.
down West Street.
that's the pattern everywhere.
But they say they lose customers because if they get harassed 2 or 3 days running,
yeah, they won't come back again.
they won't come
No.
back.
No,
Yeah,
all right.
I know.
Okay, so I'll raise that with the highways man when he comes, and Peter's obviously put it back on the street doctor thing. When's the likely inspection if they're coming to look at the War Memorial? Is there a date?
There isn't a date for that at the moment, we're just applying at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know when the competition starts or ends or
No.
anything.
I'm only thinking, if it's like imminent, whether we get out and do something ourselves as volunteers,
Right.
just to make it look good.
Right.
Yeah.
Still on the subject of War Memorial,
Okay.
it came up at our last meeting, beginning of March. Somebody reported that every other War Memorial they've taken their wreaths down. They haven't. I mean, most places have still got the wreaths up. I contacted Royal British Legion County for advice, and the official day to take them down is the Tuesday after Easter Monday.
Okay.
So I've advised Emma of that. I don't know if she's
right.
passed that on to
No,
you in
no.
maintenance. And she came back to me, confirmed that the maintenance lads would remove them as close to the Tuesday after Easter Monday as is convenient,
Yeah.
as is practicable. So that is in hand. I'll have to tell my members next Monday at the meeting on 1st of April, I'll have to tell them that that's why, because I'm now getting lots of emails saying you haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
So I'll tell them that's why they haven't been removed yet, is because it's not the due date for taking them down.
Yeah. Okay.
And the question I haven't found the answer to, I'll get the answer for Emma. The boys might already know the answer. Emma was saying, what happens to them when we take them off the War Memorial? Are they then destroyed? I think they are. But I need to find out whether they then go somewhere else, but I don't think they do. I think when they come off the War Memorial, I think they're then dumped or destroyed in some way.
Somebody will know.
Johnny Woolard would probably know.
Probably where we are.
He does it most years, I think. I think Les did it last year because he wanted to take them all off to put one on its own on there for the RAF centenary,
Okay.
and he wanted just one RAF wreath on the memorial. So
Right, with that, are we okay to close the meeting? Or?
I just got to this, I
Please do.
showed you the other day, I
Yeah.
might as well. This is a question that came up with the full county council meeting the other day, and Friday, it was Thursday. And it's actually a question that was asked by Councillor Brookfield, who used to be our mayor, and she's a county councillor in Corby. But she has said, is asking about the 3 sites, if you like, Andrew Primary School Town Centre site, Flettonfield and Kingscliff Endowed School site. So both the school sites are actually church buildings, effectively. And she's asked when they're going, what's happening about the sale of these, including Flettonfield. And the answer is the 2 school buildings have now been vacant for some time, and a community bid was made for Fletton Field, they say fields but it's only one field, by the Oundle Recreation and Green Spaces Group. In terms of the latter, Oundle Town Council has reported that since the consulting bid was made before the council's deadline of the 31st of December, nothing has happened. And indeed, the NCC still does not have permission from the Secretary of State for Education to sell the field.
Mm.
So the further answer is the former Oundle Primary School and former Kingscliff Endowed School sites are both already under offer with sales progressing. And it's currently NCC's intention to pursue a sale of Fletton Field. If so, when will this take place? And subject to the resolution of some title queries, we're expecting the Oundle Primary School site and the former Kingscliff Endowed Schools to complete as soon as practically possible in the 2019-2020 financial year.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bit more, but basically they're on the job, selling everything that can possibly sell.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
There's something that's an anxiety for me, is that the proliferation of signs and notices going up on all sorts of places like traffic signs, which is not legal.
No, it's not.
No.
Is it possible that we could put something in the next oracle, or at least find out from the county council exactly what things have to be licensed by them? Some of these things actually require a licence from the county council.
I mean, anybody that comes to us to ask to put up posters, they're told that they can, but they're not allowed to put them on any kind of traffic signs, any crossings or anything that would take people's attention away. So whoever is putting these ones on there are either ignoring or they're not asking us.
Yeah, and
Okay,
A-boards
so
are all sorts of things getting stuck out in the middle of narrow enough pavements already. They've usually got a vehicle parked on them.
Is it worth a polite letter to the trade association? And although they don't represent all the traders in town, but
I don't think the trade association are actually guilty of it. I think it's people who are not in the trades association.
Though interestingly, see, I took an Oundle Festival poster off the bus shelter recently. It was quite small, but it was absolutely pasted hard on. It really took an effort to get it on. Now, so the rule that we normally say to people, I believe, is you have to remove it afterwards.
It
But
can't,
that's
it
not
can't,
happening
was
either.
it maximum 2 weeks before the event, and it's got to come down immediately after the event.
But people are not taking them down.
No. Okay, well I'll have a word with Emma to see if there's something we can put in the oracle
just a
or
reminder.
something.
so they're not trade ones then, they're...
I don't think
They do
they are.
festivals and events
There seems to be odd things pop up. I mean, so there's all sorts of bad offenders out there. And, like we've got the good guys, like the fun fair people.
Yes.
Put them up and the circus
They do,
people,
and they
and
take
then take them down.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's in their contract with us that they have to clear up and they have to pick them up in the street. If they handed out leaflets and people had thrown them in the street, they have to pick them up.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
not
all.
everybody obeys what
No.
their contract with us is, Roy.
No,
So it'd be
no, I
interesting to
realise
find
that.
out who has the power to fine abusers, whether it's trading standards or somebody like that. Yeah. Okay. So noted. Thank you. All right, with that one, happy to close the meeting.
Okay.